you love struggling with an addiction to drugs or alcohol and want to be set free from the chains of addiction? Then call Addiction Helpline America right now to get the help you need. From drug and alcohol addiction to dual diagnosis treatment, we provide a confidential helpline to help people like you get sober and live happy, substance-free lives.
Treatment helped me get my life back. I was so addicted, the only person I could focus on was myself. And when I needed, I hit rock bottom and lost everything. Through treatment, I was able to overcome those demons and focus on my family again.
I used until I overdosed and almost died. That was the end of the road for me. After seeking treatment, I now have hope. I learned skills that help me deal with life on life's terms.
800-932-1745. 800-932-1745. 800-932-1745. That's 800-932-1745.
Tune in this Sunday for Her Health Matters show at 2 p.m. Hosted by medical doctor Sophia Shabazz, MD. Top physicians, clinicians, and elected officials will answer the questions you care about on the physical, mental, and social well-being of women.
At Donors Choose, we want students and teachers to have the tools they need for a great education. And now, more than ever, they need your support. Learn more at donorschoose.org.
Donors Choose. Support a classroom. Build a future.
Words of empowerment.
Eric Nixon, multi-platform audio editor at WHYY. At the end of the day, when people are heard and people are loved, the community in Philadelphia is like probably no other in the country. As far as it's a city of neighborhoods, a city of love, a city of people that really want to help each other and fulfill each other's needs and desires when they're able to, and want to give back to each other. But unfortunately, a lot of barriers keep people from doing that. But when we see how these barriers are taken down or are eased a bit, there's the love there that Philly has for itself and that are welcoming the community. And we just got to get back to that. But I love seeing that when it's able to be shown.
This is Words of Joy and Empowerment on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Audio provided by Love Now Media. These words of joy and empowerment are brought to you by Comcast, the United Way, and Bank of America. Celebrating Black excellence worldwide and bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app. The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on Word Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people. Write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Friday Eve. Welcome to Thursday, January 25th. I hope you're having a great week thus far, and I hope your upcoming weekend will be even better. How about that? Happy birthday to all of our love bugs that are celebrating today. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Family, if you're joining us by way of social media, let us know. share a comment with us, or if you we will take all the love that you care to share. You can even give us a call to say hello. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can even call us toll free. You can do that by dialing 1-866-361-0900. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Family, for those of you who are joining us today whose hearts might be even just a little bit heavy, or, if your light is shining just a little dimly, I just want you to know that on behalf of your entire tribe and village, we are here for you. We really are. You are not alone, okay? I want you to know that you're not alone. Oh, I do want to share something with you. So I want to give you a heads up. Next week, I will not be on the air, but I am always here in spirit. I am, but I will not be here on the air next week. But just to give you a heads up, okay? I don't want you to say, what? You didn't tell us. For those of you who are looking for love, and even if you are not, you can come out and have a great time. Guess what? We're having a Love and Life Connection event hosted by me and Dr. Marquita Williams, as we are. It's going to be so much fun. So just in case you've not seen the flyer, I've got to show you the flyer. Wait, let me get that together. So this is the actual flyer. In the event you've not seen the digital flyer for the event, I'm sharing it with you now so you can get an idea of the requirements. But for additional details and also to submit, you can simply go to wordradio.com and click the banner at the top of the page. Y'all know I can't wait. I cannot wait. Family, I've been asking you about Cafe Mocha. So I'm going to do so again. And I'm also just saying it as a reminder to tune in to Cafe Mocha every Sunday from 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. Cafe Mocha is radio from a woman's perspective. Check out the flavor from the hosts, comedian and actress Lonnie Love, hip-hop legend Yo-Yo, and broadcast veteran Angelique Perrin. I don't know who that was. Angelique Perrin, as they all bring their own point of view to today's issues. Commentary, celebrity interviews, and self-help advice. All of this, family, is wrapped in soundtracks of urban contemporary music. Yes, indeed. Family, that's Cafe Mocha. Sundays at 8 p.m. only on Word Progressive Black Talk Media. Yes. So I do want to acknowledge our family members who are checking in via our socials. Yes, I do. Alfred. Hi there. He shares that he is so happy to be here. Well, guess what? We are so happy to have you. Always happy to have you. But welcome. And thank you for joining us. Malcolm, there he is. He's watching and listening from West Mount Airy. Good evening to you too, good sir. And Will Downing. Will Downing, I am never leaving you all. I just won't be here in the flesh, if that makes any sense. But I am always here in spirit, so I'm never leaving you. No, I am not. And Brandon Franks is sending a hello as well. See, Brandon said he's okay. He said he guesses it's okay. Nazir Butler is sending peace and blessings to everybody, and we're sending them right back to you, Nasir. Yes, we are. Malcolm, thank you for that. Thank you. I'm trying to come out and see you all as well as see you here. So, just trying to share some love in person as well. Scott, hey there, Scott. Scott in Kansas City, Missouri, sending love right back to you. Family, I just love it. Scott is checking in as well. And Miss Lily, hi there, beautiful. She is checking in and sending love as always. Hey there, Eric. Just Rick. Let's get this party started, he says. Yes, D. Lamont Hall shares hello from the great Northwest. Well, you know what? Eric already said it. He said, let's get this party started. So that's what we're going to do. Our first guest in this evening, she's one of my love bugs. And she's one of yours too, because she's no stranger to the show. She was born in Jerusalem, is a lifelong resident of North Philadelphia who passionately advocates for all communities, particularly underserved communities, immigrants, and Black and Brown populations. She currently serves as the Director of State Advocacy for the Pennsylvania State Senate as the only Arab staffer in the General Assembly. And she's a recurring family member here on Love and Life. I welcome you and invite you to the conversation with Jude Husein. Hi there, beautiful.
Hi, Carol. It's so nice to see you.
It is always nice to see you. I feel like it's been so long, though.
It always feels that way.
It does. It does. How are you, though?
I'm good. What is this I hear that you're leaving us in the flesh? What is going on?
No. Just next week
with me.
No. So, well, you all know that I perform as well as I'm here on the show. So I just wanted to let our family members know that next week, Roxy Fab, our beloved, she will be sitting in for me because I will be working, gigging. I should say.
Fine. We'll take it. We'll take it.
But I'm coming.
We'll
back.
let you bless other people next week.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, family, you know I am not deserting you ever. And if I could, I would broadcast from where I will be. But unfortunately, the signal, it just won't allow me to do so.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. We'll take it. We'll miss you for this week.
Thank you, Jude. So tell us what's been going on with you. How are things with you?
Everything is it's moving. This new year is exciting. We're excited for all good things in Philly. Our prayers still go out to Palestine, which is still, as it's still under siege. We're still at 110 days, and over half of the population is near starvation. And so we're really praying for a ceasefire right now.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it had. I have to be okay. So, family, you know, I've said this to you several times in the past. I'm so sensitive to all of what's happening. But because there's so much that I still don't understand and so much information is just filtered. But what I do see is so much pain and so much hurt and so many killings. And because of that, I try to limit my intake. So I did not even realize we were at 110 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's the reality of over 2 million individuals. I mean, mothers are giving birth without any painkillers, and 2 mothers die a day. And so we have thousands of births happening with no anesthetic, nothing. And children are really near starvation and famine. We have now 70% chance of famine that has been reported out by UNICEF and different UN NGOs. And so this is the hard reality that is still occurring. And so it feels like a lifetime ago that we spoke about this, Carol. I don't know if you remember back in the fall when it all started to unfold. And, we said, well, we'll pray for a ceasefire, and hopefully it's coming soon because of all of the great faith of world leaders. But yet we're here still 110 days later with innocent lives on the line. And so praying for a ceasefire, but really the reality of over 2 million individuals with a death toll rising over 25,000. Half of them are young people under the age of 10.
Oh my God. And let me apologize to you because I know you still have family members that are there, and I now as I'm reliving what I just said, I have the opportunity to turn the news off, but this is life for you. You're living this because you have family members, so I'm terribly sorry. Terribly sorry for that. And I know, how's your grandmother? How are your family members?
My grandmother's good. Everything is under a lot of tension than it normally is, but we're grateful that they're doing all okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, it
just felt insensitive when I said, oh my gosh.
No, don't even worry about it. All good. We all know your heart, Carol. Blame the head and not the heart.
Thank you, Jude. Thank
I
you.
have bars
Thank
periodically,
you.
Carol. Just give me a shot. This is why you're getting my segment every month. Y'all, I'm gonna lighten
Jude.
it up a bit. I'm gonna lighten it up a bit.
Okay. Oh my goodness. That was a good one. So thank you for
Mhm.
that. And thank you. So, Jude, okay, I want to talk about some things. So here we are.
Mhm.
We had if I'm not mistaken, City Council had its first meeting today,
Mhm. Yeah. So
and there's some new developments. I'm sorry.
no, all you. Yes, it's the first time that, officially Council President Kenyatta Johnson has, embarked on this new leadership role. And so that was really exciting to see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now, what does that mean on a state level? Now the city council has met today. How does that impact things on the state level?
So as of right now, it doesn't impact much, but
Mhm.
we just know that there is new leadership, like Council President Kenyatta Johnson, Madam Mayor Parker, and the opportunity to work together to deliver their priorities to the city of Philadelphia. And so, what that looks like on the state level, I shouldn't say no completely, but today, House and Senate were not in session, but the Philadelphia delegation, so the Senate members and the House members that represent parts of Philly, are able to support, their fellow council people depending on their needs. And so that all goes back to that intergovernmental cooperation that Mayor Parker has campaigned on and has introduced to us very recently, that she will be a champion for intergovernmental cooperation. So meaning all levels of government working together
Right.
to deliver the best for the neighbors of Philadelphia. And so nothing as it stands right now, but looking ahead, seeing if those relationships really can cooperate with one another.
We will remain hopeful about
Mhm.
that. I do want to invite one of our family members who is joining us on the phone line. Our beloved Miss Viola is on line one. Hello there, beautiful. Mhm.
Hi.
And since you announced that you won't be there next week, I'll be report. But I thought I'd get my one phone call a day in, and just wish you well, safe travels. And are you going to be somewhere that I could drive?
Well, actually, I know it
So
sounds, I'm saying this with such secrecy. It's no secret. I mean, I will be working the Soul Train cruise next week. So I will be working that. So if you'll be on the cruise, then we can hang out together, Miss Viola.
Right. Well, anyway,
Thank you.
I'm just so thankful. I'm just thankful for what word gives us. And, listening to the lady, and I truly understand, I understand what's going on. And, I'll just say that I would pray and ask God to really move a lot of things out of the way that shouldn't be there, and He's going to take care of it. And just have to depend on Him in so many things, as I have always depended upon in my own health situations and family situations. So I'm thankful to be able to listen. I have no real comments about it, but I have been listening, and like you say, sometimes you just have to turn off the news. It's very sad sometimes when you hear things, especially where the children are concerned, the babies that have nothing to do with what adults make choices now.
Yes.
But I wish her well and hope to pray that her family stays safe and in contact with each other.
Thank you, Miss Viola.
Yes, but I, just wanted to give Carol a shout out. I have been listening.
Thank you, Miss Viola. I miss you when I don't hear your voice.
I know, and I have been very busy, even in just, getting on Facebook a couple of times. But, we have to know how to shut things down and do something else.
Yes.
So, I have been able to do that. But as far as the things that have been happening, a friend losing a daughter through cancer.
Yeah.
I lost a cousin, and now another brother of that cousin is sick. You know,
Oh my
things
goodness.
around.
Oh,
But
Miss Viola, I'm sending.
you know what? When a person would say to me, "Oh, God, you're strong," and I said, "What is strong? You know, what is strong? God gives us exactly what He knows we can handle."
And he does.
Thankful for that. You know, I'm thankful for that. And you know, I've told this before that April 13th of this year, I'll be a 41-year breast cancer survivor.
Ooh, Miss Viola.
Woohoo!
Praise God.
Oh, listen, the Lord has blessed me tremendously. And I just let a person know that how He has blessed me, I am supposed to be here.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So everyone out there listening, have a great evening, a blessed weekend that's coming up. And I wish you well. You just sing on now. I know that 20th anniversary program. So, you know, I know what you can do.
Thank you as well, Miss Viola. You be blessed and be safe out there, because I know Miss Viola doesn't sit still. You be safe and you continue to be blessed. I do want to share that Cheryl Hicks Lucas is joining us. She sends a good evening to the entire family. We send one right back to you. Steve Manning is joining us. Hey, you. Sending it right back to you. Blaine. Hey there, my cousin. Hey, cuzzo. He's saying hello. Eric, I do see your comment, and I'm going to share that actually when we come back from our commercial break. Family, know that the phone lines are still open, and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. When we come back, we're going back to the phone lines and back to our comments, and then to our conversation with Jude. Stay with us, because we are coming right back.
Okay, how many people in here have ever been in love? I know that the guys have been in here. How many of y'all ever been in love?
Seasoned singles, listen up. Word Radio is crafting a sophisticated and fun event for singles ages 40 and up. Mark Tuesday, February 13th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on your calendar for the Love and Life Connection event and live broadcast, hosted by Carol Riddick and Dr. Marquita Williams at Bayou in West Philadelphia. This event will feature fun activities where you can meet new people and possibly make a love connection. The evening will also feature a live WURD version of the dating game. Some bachelors have already been selected, but we're looking for one special bachelorette. If you're a single woman aged 40 to 55, able to participate in person, and willing to go on a sponsored date with one of the bachelors, then complete the entry form on the Word website, WURDradio.com. Mark your calendars for the Love and Life Connection event, Tuesday, February 13th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Bayou, 5025 Baltimore Avenue. Stay tuned for more details on event registration and tune in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Right here. What could it be?
Discover all Temple University has to offer during their winter preview days. Take this opportunity to tour main campus and learn more about their academic programs and award-winning faculty. As a top 100 best value school, according to U.S. News and World Report, they provide the education, connection,
voting time in 2024. Yes, voting time in 2024. I hope you did your best and took a little rest. But now it's time to soar for us 2024. Yes, it's voting time. I said it's voting time. Gather women and men on whom you can depend. Take your friends who won't ignore. Because it's voting time in 2024. Say it with pride. I register, I vote, I must. You may have buttons that say, I register, I vote, I must. Say it on the radio, the TV, the cell phone, or the landline. I register, I vote, I must. This is Dr. Lucille Ijoy. I register, I vote, I must.
Oh no, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. We are joined with Jude Husein in this hour. And as I did share with you before the commercial break, I said that we would go back to the comments and then we would go to our phone lines. Eric is sharing. Welcome back, Jude. I truly love when you come and share your knowledge. Welcome back to the platform. He shares, I love when you share your knowledge, work, and inspiring conversation. Never stop. Keep on keeping on.
Thank you. Your
And
family is so nice to me, Carol.
oh, this is family right here because you are family too, Jude. This is family. This is family right here. Ron has been waiting to join the conversation. Hey there, Ron. He's online too.
Hello, everyone. How you doing, man? Everybody. Yesterday, I was in Jefferson Hospital. Love and life is absolutely the way to go. Life and then share that love, even in hospitals where they really need that human touch. I got a chance to do my thing in the hospital. It was my day to see our primary doctor. And then I talk about love and life. Matter of fact, I go to tune in through the week. Not only today, but through the week. We talked about love and life, our love and life family here, where we are on WRD, because that's the infrastructure where it comes from. We start talking about our team that we're putting together, and anybody in Philadelphia can be a part of this love and life. And my cup running home. All right, Mr. Jacob that calls on WRD. I didn't know his family members were there for their team. She called him. And I just got to get this year. And I want to say to everyone, the women and everybody, I got the 9 o'clock, that was my point to my family. Please get your blood work done. And not
Okay. Let's see.
People that were there. Then I did one of the old gospel hymns. Then I went on to say some other things. What is this thing we call life? And what I'm saying, I want to thank Malcolm, I want to thank all the family members that is a part of the Love and Life team, not excluding no one else.
Hello?
Thank Kyle for being able to have this vision, to bring this vision.
Can you still hear me?
This vision and thought into existence. Look at what's happening in the world today. And I'm so glad. I feel better. Okay. I feel much better. And I always my primary doctor was telling me, because I through my medical insurance, something that she wanted to make sure that my medical insurance covered. I want to thank the person that helped me before my appointment and gave me some help with my legs, they're bad. But my heart is well. And once again, when we have our outreach program like Love and Life, no, when we have this, you don't know what it does for someone. I only can speak for me. But when you come into the Love and Life segment, with the healthcare, all in conjunction on this station, it's got to make you feel better. So I feel better, so much better to be a part of my Love and Life family. I want to thank the guys once again for calling in and calibrating the lady that's in here now to be able to help them. And they support Cal because she likes that. She likes to be able to help them. And then they got Malcolm and so many of the other people that comes and confirm and let that person know that's there, that we care. Yes, we are family. That's purpose in life. Thank you, wonderful people, for being the inspiration to so much of us. My cup too wonderful. I would never be ever grateful for what has been done for me. Out of all the things that some people have done for me, I'll be grateful for someone like Love and Life family care for you. It's a testimony that the creators and people like you, Miss Cal, and y'all down to help people. Thank you.
Ron, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep you in my prayers. I always do, but I'm going to keep you in my prayers. Thank you. Oh my goodness, family, hi there. If you have just joined us, we're having some sort of technical issues tonight, but bear with us. You know, that's just the devil trying to get in, and he is never welcome. He is always rebuked. So I just want to make you aware that we are aware. Just letting you know. I do want to say hello to my cousin April. Hi there, beloved. She is checking in, and the beautiful Miss Rosalind as well is checking in. So Jude, I do have some questions for you. Jude shared some things offline, and she was talking about our youth getting more involved in the voting process, and I'm curious. So I don't really have the statistics on the 18 to 35 range, so I'm not sure if you do, and if you do, are they engaged? Are they very engaged in the voting process?
So if I could put it in a context where it's super easy to wrap around, if 18 to 35-year-olds in Philadelphia just vote, they can determine every single position in office. That's how much power they have. And not all, I think the number is, I can get it in a second, but a little over 300,000, but not even all of them need to vote. And so what's interesting is that we know the voting blocks that age are primarily the older crowd, whether it's older as in 55 and older, is primarily who you see. But 18 to 35-year-olds in the city of Philadelphia have less than a 10% turnout. And so that's really interesting, that we cannot seem to get that 18 to 35-year-old. But a lot of the time, they'll say that the rhetoric, the language that's being used is not really tailored to them, and that they're always counted out. And so the power that that block has, and no candidate can really appeal to that voting block, is a missed and a severe missed opportunity, and something that we really should keep an eye on, because that is the working, the young, the all types of different people. And so they're always counted out in what we've seen in the past 2 decades, at the very least, in modern day time. And so that is a serious opportunity that could be detrimental in the upcoming year.
Why do you think there's such a big disconnect with communicating with that demographic?
I think that demographic does not feel like they are seen and or heard. And so we always say, go vote. And we're like, well, why should you vote, right? Like, why do you care about voting? Or is voting our only responsibility? But after voting comes accountability. And after voting comes advocacy. And I think that age block just feels disregarded, and that it won't matter. But who has tailored language to say, okay, well, do you care about women's rights? Do you care about, having women ensure that they have the right to choose for themselves? Well, come out and make sure you vote for these certain members that are protecting these rights. And so the only reason why we still have the right to our body as women, as it relates to abortions and other things, is because, honestly, we did it here in Pennsylvania because of the people that we have in office. If that goes away, then we have an issue that could be easily revoked. As it relates to legalizing marijuana now, regardless of how people feel about it, right? You have a say in the people that you put in office, what and where and when they advocate for things. And so we are not tailoring language as it relates to what is truly on the ballot. It's not just this candidate, right?
Right.
Candidate that believes in X, Y, and Z. Anyone who's looking for 100% of liking anyone is not there, but we don't even try to tailor language to try to reel in that voter block. Or even trying to make it a little bit more trendier, right? Because we say, okay, we definitely look at the data. They don't vote. Let me move on to the voting bloc that does vote. Instead of trying to come in and really speaking to this voter bloc and understanding why is there a mistrust. And so that is a few reasons why.
You know, I struggle to understand why, if we know that demographic feels unheard and as if, you know, their voice is not being addressed. I struggle to understand how a campaign has not been put together to include them or to make them feel and become more inclusive. We speak about, and I know, you know, what the more popular issues are for which our politicians campaign, but this is a big world. I really don't understand when they play such a large part and could change things exponentially, like you just shared. They could change things.
Absolutely. I mean, Philadelphia has over 300,000 individuals that are registered to vote from the ages 18 to 35. And we talk about, let's, you know, register people to vote. Philadelphia has over an 85% rate of people registered to vote. What are we doing to actually get out the vote, right? And starting a month before a primary is not a campaign that's going to be effective. This is a voting bloc that has been overlooked time and time again. And so actually trying to create language, literature, a door knocking campaign, really investing in a campaign that brings them out to show them. But registering people to vote in the city of Philadelphia isn't necessarily an issue. We should continue to do it. But with over an 85% registered voter base, I mean, what we need to do is get those voters to the polls. And what is stopping them? It's that disconnect. And so it's tough.
Well, you know what? I'm looking at some of the comments that our family members are sharing, and Brandon is in agreement. He shares this in part. They may feel because they have no voice or that they're not heard, and I'm in agreement with that. Eric shares that he believes that a lot of the youth today believe that voting is a mature older folk duty. Youthful problems need more youthful leadership. You know, and it's interesting that you would say that, because I was trying to think of the youngest politician, of the age of the youngest politician. So that point of view could quite possibly be, you know, the mindset for that demographic, because I can't really think of a politician that's a little on the younger side.
I think the youngest member in Congress is, I think Maxwell Frost is what I've seen from Florida, who's age 27. But I think in the city of Philadelphia, if we look at the young members or the younger members that are elected, would be, you know, Councilman Isaiah Thomas, Councilman Gilmore Richardson, both tremendous people, both very vocal, and really try to connect. I'm familiar with Councilman Thomas's work in terms of, you know, being chair of education and really being in tune with young people, but really trying to reach that broader audience is going to be critical. And I don't think it's necessarily being the mature or an older folks duty. I think there is a severe mistrust, right? And also what is on the line, right? And okay, I vote, but then what happens next? And so how are we educating young people to know that voting is every year, but there are other ways to practice your civic engagement and your civic duty and your civic responsibility, essentially, that tie into casting that ballot. And so that education and that willingness to educate that voter bloc needs to be there.
You again, Jude was sharing some information with me offline, and I'm addressing some of the things that you shared. And one of the things you shared with me was about FaceTime for our actual electeds. Do you think it would make a huge difference, or even the slightest maybe, if there was more FaceTime with our candidates, or you know, in a more, well, because there is FaceTime, but if there was more and in a different way?
Absolutely. I'm actually writing a post about this for generosity in terms of should council and even beyond council, just every elected member have a certain level of engagement with their community that is mandatory, right? Beyond just sending out a newsletter or, having a food drive or a food giveaway. And I think we have to be really creative with how we're engaging residents and meeting them where they're at. And I think even for an elected going into the community, what does that look like for that voter block and how are they engaging? And so an elected really understanding their demographics and where they're going to get them, right? And who are the community messengers that they can really reel in for this? Because we go back to that trust, right? And so really having a sit down and meeting the community members where they are, and not just for your annual event, but for something a little bit more casual, right? Something a little bit less intimidating. I think we, give people we always think that people know what they're doing, right? And sometimes when we automatically assume that people know what they're doing, it's very hard for someone to say, I actually don't know what that means. I actually don't know what's about it. And so I always tell people when they talk to me, so of course Jude. I'm like, no. Please assume that I don't know. Please assume that I do not know. Because then that's the position where I'm like, oh my gosh, should I have known that? Was that ridiculous for me not to know? And that goes back to the question, Carol, of how are we engaging this voter block in a way where it's a little bit more casual, where it's genuine, where there is that level setting of trust and foundation, because this is not something that can happen overnight.
Sure. Well, family, there you have it. That this conversation is underway. And guess what? You are invited to join the conversation. If you care to do so, feel free to give us a call or feel free to continue to comment on our socials. What we're going to do right now is take just a short commercial break, but stay with us because we'll be right back.
Tune in to Cafe Mocha every Sunday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Cafe Mocha is radio from
Well, Carol, if you can hear me, I'm pretty much lost.
From the host, comedian and actress Lonnie Love.
I'm not really sure what could be possible.
Broadcast veteran Angelique Corinne as they bring their point of view to today's issues, social commentary, celebrity interviews, and self-help advice wrapped in a soundtrack of urban contemporary music. That's Cafe Mocha, Sundays at 8 p.m. only
Unless I just have to mute my own laptop, but then I think that you won't hear it.
Black Talk Media.
Contact Center today at 1-800-789-PENN. That's 1-800-789-PENN.
Tune in to EcoWord Magazine, hosted by POC, the first Friday at 11 a.m. for the PA Lottery EcoWord Tip of the Day. Brought to you by PA Lottery, benefiting older Pennsylvanians every day.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black Talk Media, WURD.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
And we are back. Welcome back to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Jude Husein, and we are talking about government. We're talking about, well, specifically one demographic, the 18 to 35-year-old demographic. You know, you mentioned something else, Jude, offline. You were sharing about the role that young people could potentially play in government and how important that is. Could you talk with us a little more about that, share with our family members?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we talk about young people, it's really important that I categorize young people even from the ages of 9 all the way to 35. And so I think government, especially here in the state of Philadelphia, has tried to do their part in engaging young people, not to where they need to be. And I think it's been like a trend that, rises and then drops off and then rises and then drops off. And I think what's really important when engaging young people is actually taking them for what they say and believing and knowing that their lived experience is worth just as much as anyone else or just as much as an education, a traditional education. And so I think time and time again, we always say, oh, well, they're young and what do they know? Or okay, like, let's come and take this picture and like, you can leave. And that is not the way that we should be treating young people because we're setting the standard that they don't matter. And so when I think of a perfect world where young people are involved in government, I think they're involved every single day. I think their voices are at the table and they're asked questions that are intentional and they're asked questions that that know that these, elected officials or these people of leadership, because they're not always elected officials, they take them for their word for it. This young person knows what happens on their block. They know what happens in the classroom in the school district of Philadelphia or the charter school down the block. And so these are real life experiences that in government, people need to know what is happening in order to support within the solution and not continue to add to the problem. And so in my perfect world, young people have a voice that's taken seriously and not for granted, and are not just there for a photo op, but also for their time, right? Like they must be paid for their time. We can't ask young people to come and relive trauma and relive the horrors of what they endure, whether it's every day or periodically or whatever the case may be. But understand that lived experience here is really, really key. And to put young people in the hot seat is something that should not be taken for granted and should not be looked at as a photo op.
Jude, I have to say that is why we value you so much. I cannot express to you enough and have you know and understand that we respect and value your opinion. Well, let me speak for me. Family, I will not speak for all of you, but that I respect and value your viewpoint, your opinion, and your dedication and your advocacy, because you're on point. I just truly do believe you're so on point. You mentioned as well unheard of neighborhoods. In our offline talk, family, we talk a lot offline, okay? But only so that we can bring you some content of interest. So when you say unheard of neighborhoods, to what were you referring?
When I say unheard neighborhoods or unseen, and it means exactly just that. These are the neighborhoods that are continuously counted out, whether it's in the traditional campaign sense where we look at data and if they're not voting, we skip over them because what's the point of wasting our time to going into neighborhoods that don't vote anyway? Let me just go to that neighborhood in Rittenhouse that absolutely votes, that neighborhood in Queen Village that absolutely votes, that retirement home in West Philadelphia where we know we can count on them, or Northeast or Southwest or whatever the case may be. And so we look at that kind of mindset that people have. And then we look at just everyday things like the immigrant community that maybe has that language barrier? And what are we doing to ensure that there are resources for them? There are millions of dollars in public assistance benefits that are unused in the city of Philadelphia that just completely sit. And it does not benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit the neighbor that needs those benefits. And it doesn't benefit the businesses that can utilize those benefits when a neighbor comes in and shops for food or things of that nature. And so what is that saying when we have an X amount of dollars, millions of dollars of benefits that are sitting there, and neighbors who don't have access to that? Us in government and even the private sector and even our nonprofit organizations have a duty and obligation to make sure that neighbors across the city of Philadelphia alike, it may be an uncomfortable conversation, have access regardless of a language barrier, regardless if they worship at a church, a mosque, a synagogue, whatever the case may be, and really break down those barriers, getting these neighbors what they want. And so when I think about, and when I speak about unseen, unheard neighbors, I think about the people that are completely disregarded. And it shows, it shows when we talk about the polls, it shows when we talk about millions of dollars of benefits sitting down and not being utilized. And it shows when we look at places of leadership and what that looks like. And when we're making programs and policies that directly impact these neighbors, but yet they were not a part of the creation and cultivation. And so that's what I mean by those specific terms.
So what can we do? What can we do to address specifically those funds that are just there waiting? What can we do? Those of us that are on the outside looking in, what can we do?
Absolutely. So it's about having those, even if it's a neighbor, right? Like asking them, like if you meet this threshold, go to your local representative and have them sign you up. And that's a simple thing that we can do for our neighbors. If it's, an education campaign where, sometimes it's uncomfortable asking, hey, like, do you need public assistance? But the reality of it is that there is a stigma, and really just asking flat out, like, we should be able to do this for our neighbors and have it not be a stigma is really important. And as it relates to voting, I'm sure everyone that's listening knows someone that's 18 to 35 and can bring them to the polls. And if you don't, get to know someone. And it really, truly does work. I have a lot of people who, again, are intimidated that they don't know what's happening. And so why would they cast that vote? Because the stigma of, I should know that, and I feel really silly for not knowing that, so I'm just going to tell people that I know and just continue on, is something that's really real and needs to be addressed. And it's okay not to know. And so these are really just the smaller things that we can do for one another as neighbors, whether we know each other or not.
Well, there you have it. Family, if you have just tuned in, if you've just joined us, how about that? You're tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We've been joined in this hour with Jude Husein, who is our love bug. She's our recurring family member here on Love and Life, and she comes to impart knowledge. She shares with us about what's going on and what's happening, and offers ways in which we can help. So Jude, I say to you, thank you so much. Thank you. And I look forward to your next visit. First of all, it feels like you were here 10 minutes. I feel like we talked about one thing. It went by so quickly, as it always does. It always does. But I do want you to know that Eric shares that you rock. He shares that Jude rocks. And well, your family. So we love when you come, when you visit, and when we get to talk. My only regret is that we just don't get to talk about these things a little longer, because sometimes there's some things that I really want to dig deeply into. But I am grateful that you do return, that you will be back. You will be back.
Of course.
Yes, I do want to share that Miss Rosalind, she said you need to come back on. Jude will be back. She's coming back.
You guys are stuck with me, and Carol is stuck with me for as long as she'll have me. But
she's
I am
coming.
so grateful for you, Carol, and for having me on, and for your wonderful family that I'm going to call family now too, because I feel like now I'm officially a part of the family, because you know what they say, 3 times a charm, 3 times we stay. And
That's
so
right.
we are.
Here
Thank you
we
so much.
are. Jude, we will see you on your next visit. Family, stay with us because it's time for us to take a short commercial break. And when we come back, you know what day it is. It's Thursday. So that means in the next hour, we will have Dr. Z visit with us, because that's what we do on Thursdays. We have Thursdays with Dr. Z. So family, stay with us because we are coming right back.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed this week on Love and Life.
Dr. Gooden, you made a comment about learned behavior, and I'm curious to know, how is it that we gravitate to learned behavior, or we follow learned behavior more than listening to discernment?
That's a good question. I believe the best answer is to say that learned behavior is learned because it's seen so frequently and it's repeated, the behaviors that are observed. Stop and ask yourself, were there things you saw at home or you experienced that you said, I'm never going to do that? And then you found yourself doing it too. When I was being raised, my parents whipped me. But it comes from slavery experiences where if we didn't beat our children and beat them severely, the enslaver was very likely going to kill your child. We've got to learn to let go of being slaves or enslaved people. You know, Harriet Tubman said she could have freed a lot more people had they just known that they were enslaved.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds this week from Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
These days, my happy place feels a little happier, even if the fish aren't biting.
Mental health care is working for Diego. See what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
April 5th was a breakthrough day.
Once, there was a very silly bear.
During a well visit at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia Primary Care, Zach got his very first book.
Let's point to the bear.
And his mom got advice and support about the importance of reading to her 9-month-old.
Very good.
The Reach Out and Read program at CHOP has helped thousands of families open a whole new world for their children through early reading.
Right, he's right there.
Every day, Children's Hospital is making breakthroughs for kids. Some big, some small, all wondrous.
And they had a very good day.
Zach's breakthrough? Lots of happy endings that add up to a great beginning. What can we do for your child today? Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Breakthroughs every day. Yours begins at chop.edu.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. If there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanted to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is a public service announcement. The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. Ward's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out these recent openings posted on the Livelihood job board at wordworks.com. The Public Health Management Corporation is hiring for several exciting roles, including a dental assistant, payroll manager, and home health occupational therapist. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative. Brought to you by Word Radio, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Talking to your kids about the dangers of vaping can be hard. Getting them to listen to hot gossip is easy. So here's some drama you could share with your kid. Dude, did you hear about Cassie and Jake? No, but did you hear that vaping can cause irreversible lung damage and nicotine affects brain development? Nuh-uh. You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Or baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We are the home of progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with Carol Riddick. Yours truly, right here on WURD. Well, here we are in the second hour. So you know what that means because it's Thursday. Thursday with Dr. Z. For those of you who are unfamiliar, I don't know how you could be, but for those of you who are unfamiliar, Dr. Z is the executive director for Sunrise Community of Pennsylvania. She is a lifelong student of human behavior and social interaction with well over 15 years of experience as an accomplished trainer, professional speaker, and supervisor in the field of human services. Well, guess what? She has brought a friend with her today. Yes, she has. And her friend is none other than Aronissa Harris, who is the founder and CEO of Harris and Associates Financial Coaching Agency and the Money Clinic, LLC. I love that name. I love that name. She has been a licensed insurance professional since 1998. Yes. And she is registered with FINRA and the Securities and Exchange Commission, meaning she is licensed to sell investment securities, mutual funds, annuities, IRAs, and retirement accounts, just to name a few, family, okay? But they're both here to talk with us about, you know, the financial unknowns and about being prepared for all of that good stuff. So, family, I invite you to the conversation with our very own beloved Dr. Z and our new family member, Aronissa Harris. Oh, look at that. And see, that's what happens when you don't do what you're supposed to. Well, hello. Hello there, lady.
Hello.
How are
you? Hello.
Dr. Z, what are you doing over there in the
Oh
background?
my gosh. I don't know what happened. I was like, oh my gosh, I logged out by mistake. But I'm back. Hi, Aronissa. Hi, Carol.
Oh my goodness.
Hi,
Carol. Hi there. I just knew you were in a panic. I said, I know she is in a panic right now. But it was okay because no one.
You had me. I said, Carol's gonna work it out. She's gonna work it out.
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. So Dr. Z, as in true fashion, you know, Dr. Z gets us together. So she has brought, like I said, our new family member, Aronissa, to help us with our financial education, our financial literacy, as they call it, right?
Yes,
I like that.
yes.
So Dr. Z, take it away.
Yes. Hello, everyone again. I am so excited today to have my sister, my friend, my colleague in so many different ways with us today as we engage in a conversation that a lot of us don't like to talk about, expecting the unexpected, right? Death, dying, illness, sickness. How do we prepare for that? Sometimes things happen and we're not prepared. We don't know what to do. We don't have finances in order. We're running around trying to figure out how to fix, while always also dealing with the tough issue that we're going through at that time. And so I thought today would be a good day to have a hard conversation for some people around preparing for the unknown. And so as I thought about that, I said, who would be good? And I thought of my sister friend, Aronissa. So she joins us today.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are delighted to have you visit with us. Let me tell you, this is a conversation that I think we should all have. Not only should we all have it, but it's a recurring conversation actually, because things change.
Yep.
That's my own personal opinion. And I will say too, that I used to be afraid to have this conversation. I don't know what the stigma was for me, but there was a lot of fear in having this conversation. There used to be for me, but I had an aunt. She's called me little one. Come on, little one, sit down. I want to talk to you about this. And she got me together. And from that day on, you know, that fear was gone. But I digress. Family, I'm not here to talk about me. We are here to learn some things. So the first question I will ask is, why is it important for us to have life insurance?
Oh my goodness, for so many reasons. Well, for one, again, after thanking everybody for being here, it's one of the top ways, and actually America's best kept secret on creating first generational wealth. I was talking to a few clients of mine last week, and they were saying, yeah, I'm not my kids, I've raised them, and I'm not going to leave all this money behind for people to get rich off of and that's just, it was so sad to hear, because so many other cultures, different than the African-American community, they set their children up for generations to come, you know, the children's children kind of mindset. And it means everything to them to make sure that there's some money somewhere, there's property somewhere, so that their families or their heirs can have a head start. And not so much in our communities. There's a lot of mistrust, a lot of secrecy, and all of those things. But life insurance is absolutely important because it secures income that you don't get a chance to earn. And many people depend on that. I'm afraid to say that many of us have been born to win, but programmed to lose, because we were taught that insurance is just for the funeral. You know, just have a nice repast and get a nice singer to come and we're going to lay them out. And then after the funeral is over and everything's paid, we've got two little ones who are dependent, or people in the house who are under 18 or 21 who still got to get on with their lives, and they were dependent on that breadwinner. So it's important that we replace our income.
Can I please tell you, I still hear that. I still hear that from my, family members with whom I share a bloodline. Yeah, well, I mean, let's just make sure, the funeral can be taken care of.
Yep. And there's really two financial tragedies in life. You could die too soon or live too long. And at either end of the spectrum, you're going to need to have a pile of money sitting at either way you go in order to make sure that our family and our legacy carries on. So.
I want to take a moment because, family, I do see your comments. I sure do. And I want to acknowledge that I see your comments. Ms. Rosalind, she is extending her gratitude to everybody for everybody's prayers, because she said her health is coming along in the positive. And for that, we all are eternally grateful. So she's sharing with everyone flowers. She says, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you so much for your prayers. Heather Wilson is joining us. Hi there. She's sending love to the Word family. It's one of my boops. Hi there, Mama. And Harold Sprittle shares, good evening, ladies. He also shares, I just looked her up. Is her office in Glenside?
Yep, that's where my office is. I'm in Glenside. Yes. Yeah, that's where I've been there 20 years, since about, well, unofficially 1998, but officially since about 2009, I've been in Glenside. Yep.
Wow. Nice. So when I was sharing that, you all were coming to talk with us about some financial unknowns, what would you say are some of the more common financial unknowns that people face for which they should prepare?
Well, financial houses have to be built like any other infrastructure from the ground up. And you have to stabilize the what ifs. What if I pass away? What if I lose my job? What if they close my department? What if I become disabled? What if I pass away today and I didn't leave the proper paperwork behind with the names of people? Are they on the deed? Are they on the mortgage? How does that work? Are they on the account? And so stability comes from taking care of the things you can't control. I mean, none of us is promised tomorrow. And so you have to stabilize that by making sure that either way it goes, there's a plan in place. And what I find, Carol, is that a lot of people have products, but they don't have a plan. It just doesn't make sense. You're paying things and you own this and you own that, but it doesn't add up to anything. It's just my mom said I should get one, or I should have this, or I should have that, but it doesn't gel together to create an infrastructure that one from the next generation could follow. Like, where's the book in the house that says, here are my passwords, here's the account information, here's how you log in, here's where the important papers are. And because of the secrecy and the mistrust within our communities, we don't have those tough conversations. So we got papers all over the house. We've got things under mattresses and safes when people don't have the combination to them. And now you've got grief, and you still have to deal with the financial obligations when someone passes away. So you don't want to grieve and be broke. Trust me.
We have a question from one of our family members, Eric. Eric is sharing, hey, Dr. Z and Mrs. Harris, welcome. I know quite a few people who don't have a spouse, siblings, or extended family members who is going to bury them and handle their personal affairs and belongings. What are your thoughts?
Oh my gosh. I would say you must show yourself friendly. You got to find somebody or some entity. Like, some people leave the proceeds of their estate to their church or a charity of some sort in order to, make sure that they pass on some sort of legacy or some contribution in some way. But everybody needs somebody. Nobody is an island. I hear a lot of people say, I just don't trust anybody. As a matter of fact, I've recently had a situation, just by way of example, where a gentleman had family that he didn't trust. And so when he was asked who's the beneficiary, he said, my estate. He refused to name anyone. And so now we're in a 6 to 9 month litigation with an attorney and all the things, just for her to open, his children to open the estate, be able to conduct business. Meanwhile, the bills are still coming in. The mortgage is still needing to be paid. So my recommendation to the person who asked that question is, you got to find somebody. There's got to be someone that you develop a relationship with over 18 that will carry out your wishes. Get official documents like trusts and powers of attorney to make sure that your wishes are carried out to a T, but to allow the government, who doesn't know your family personally, to kind of get in your affairs and make decisions on your behalf without knowing your heart. It's a really, really tough spot to be in.
Is it ever too early to begin preparing?
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you said that. I meet with a lot of millennials, my favorite group, my millennials, who I adore. But they're often, I'm too young for that. They have this I'll live forever mentality. And let me just put this in the atmosphere for whoever logged in. Life insurance is a matter of, watch this, age and health in perfect harmony. So I have people under 30 who don't qualify for life insurance because they have a terminal illness. So they're young, but they're not healthy.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I've got people don't realize this. Some people with felonies, difficult to insure. Type 2 diabetics on insulin, difficult to insure. People who have cancer history in the past 10 years. Like, everybody has a medical credit score. So when I go purchase a car, purchase a home, they run my credit and they determine whether I am standard, above standard. What's the same thing in the insurance world? There's something called the MIB, the Medical Information Bureau. And in 90 seconds, any insurer can pull up 10 years of your past medical history, just like that. And so you may get in front of your professional and say, oh, I don't take the medicine, I feel fine. But if your chart says it was prescribed for you, it could absolutely impact your insurability, whether you get insured or not, or what you pay. And so my advice right off the bat is that you need to be young and healthy when you purchase certain financial products, life insurance being one of them. You need to secure, you need to grow into the coverage. So people that say to me, well, I don't have kids and I don't have a house, but what you have is your age and your health. And you intend to purchase a home and you intend to bear children or start a family or adopt. So Why would you wait till you're 46 to get $500,000 at $100 a month when you can get it for 35? Lock it in, and it stays level as you grow into. My mother used to buy shoes for me that were a little too big, so that I would eventually grow into them. Right? It's the same thing with our financial purchases. So you're never too young.
OMG. Lord, I mean, when we have these conversations, like you're saying things that I know, but it all feels so heavy. I tell you, it just feels like so much when we talk about it. And I'm sure that's why a lot of us run from the conversation. We shy away from it. But again, it's necessary. Dr. Z, I'm glad we have you here because you can help us navigate this for those of us who find this too heavy. For those of us that, have some difficulty having these conversations. Another one of our family members has a comment. Nasir shares, good evening, Dr. Z and Mrs. Harris. Do you think having a tax annuity while working, I think it got cut off. I think it was cut off, Nasir, if there was a remainder to the question.
Okay. But in general, we want to take advantage of all tax shelters that we can possibly find. And sometimes people, I want to say this properly since we're on live national air. They think of life insurance as a tax shelter, and there's so much miseducation and red tape about how life insurance is supposed to work. And we'll get into that as you guide the conversation. But there are many tax shelters. The first level of defense against or protecting oneself against taxes is to max out anything that is provided by a professional up to the match, right? So if you have an employer or a place where you work that will match you dollar for dollar, say up to 6%, right? If you're able and financially able to do that, you want to put in as much as they're matching you dollar for dollar, because to not do that would be to leave money on the table. But let's say I have some folks out there saying, well, I want to save 10%, but they only match up to 6%. Well, you match up to 6%, and the additional 4%, you create your own tax shelter outside of the job by means of an IRA or a traditional Roth, either one. I always use this example, and I like to speak in pictures. So you know how in our veins, the blood looks blue? It might not be blue, but it's a deeper form of red. And it doesn't turn that bright red until we get a cut, right? Well, just imagine that the IRA is the vein through which mutual funds and annuities and financial products flow through. And so we want to stick all of our products in tax shelters so the government doesn't cut us. And we don't, if that makes sense. So match the job as much as they're putting on the table. And then you listen, an IRA is simply a 401k you do at home. There's sections of tax law that you can create on your own. And after which you max out any tax shelters that are available to you. And then you have other financial products that you can use in order to gain significant rates of return.
I'm so glad you explained that to us. Thank you so much, because I was going to ask you to break that down. And I've never had anyone say it so with such simplicity. So thank you. Thank you for that. Sophia So Wood shares, this is the conversation that no one wants to have, but is so needed. It is so much needed. And she also shared about a Roth IRA. So
it's amazing. Senator Roth came up with that back in the 90s. And he said, when people take their money out in retirement, they should not have a tax experience. They're preparing for the future. You need anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million to walk away from your job. And so if people are going to be funding these accounts with after-tax dollars, let's just make sure when we pull them out, it remains tax-free. That was a game changer. So many people who are trying to figure out what 65 and 70 is going to look like. And the good news is, in my office, you can start a mutual fund or an IRA with as little as $25 a month. I think the lack of education causes us to be intimidated unnecessarily. So $25 a month for the cost of a eyelash fill or a fingernail.
For your monthly Starbucks. I mean, I'm sorry, your weekly, because in a week you could spend more than $25 at Starbucks.
Right. In a day you can spend more than $25.
How about that? Come on.
How about that?
And what I realize is that people have the money. I remember my mother would sit money on the dresser. And I would say, Mom, can I have some money? And she would say, I don't have any money. And I'm like, the money's on the dresser. And what she was saying was, I don't have the money for what you're asking. You know, and so when people say I don't have the money, I don't believe them all the time, because you do have money for what you want to spend it on. Like Starbucks, like bundles and all the things.
What? Listen, because I sure enough get my matcha latte. I get my green tea.
Right?
What?
On a good winter morning.
What?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Okay, there's always money for a matcha latte.
I understand. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness, family. Hey there. I am talking with you and to you. If you have just joined us, welcome. How about that? You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. It's Thursday. And you know what we do on Thursdays? We talk with Dr. Z, because it's Thursdays with Dr. Z. Well, she has brought a new family member. Aronissa Harris is here with us, and she is sharing with us about financial literacy. Y'all, do you hear me? Listen, you better pay attention. I know you have some questions. I know you do. You may even have a comment. Whatever it is, I'm inviting you to share it. And you can do so by either calling us. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can even call us toll free at 866-361-0900. And you know, you can always share your comments on our socials. I promise I will do my best to read it aloud. I promise I will. To that point, Nasir shares that, thank you. That was the answer he was looking for. That was just the answer he was looking for. And Jasmine, the stylist, Elliot shares, hey, family. Hey,
that's my daughter.
Well,
that's my child.
I know that's right. Hey, family.
Yes.
And Harold asks, do you do wills?
I do. I actually have a program that can provide wills, powers of attorney, advanced directives for very nominal costs. And so if I'll give my information contact at the end, and then he can reach out. I would love to talk to him.
Please. Thank you. And our beloved Ms. Rosalind shares that people are so much into materialistic stuff that they forget the value of saving and preparing for the future.
Yes.
You know, the one thing that saddens me is that it's like, you know, we're all in agreement that it's a necessary conversation, but it's not one that we have as often as we should.
Yep.
And I know we have anxiety associated with it. And Dr. Z, I was alluding to that a little bit earlier, but we're going to take a short commercial break. And when we come back, Dr. Z, if you would talk with us about how we can, you know, develop a level of comfort when broaching this matter with our family members, that would be so helpful. That would be so helpful, you know, so helpful. So family, stay with us. Know that the phone lines are open, and feel free to continue to comment on our socials, because we are coming right back. Stay with us.
Okay, how many people in here have ever been in love? I know that the guys gonna raise their hand, but how many of y'all ever been in love?
Seasoned singles, listen up. Word Radio is crafting a sophisticated and fun event for singles ages 40 and up. Mark Tuesday, February 13th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on your calendar for the Love and Life Connection event and live broadcast, hosted by Carol Riddick and Dr. Marquita Williams at Bayou in West Philadelphia. This event will feature fun activities where you can meet new people and possibly make a love connection. The evening will also feature a live WURD version of the dating game. Some bachelors have already been selected, but we're looking for one special bachelorette. If you're a single woman aged 40 to 55, able to participate in person, and willing to go on a sponsored date with one of the bachelors, then complete the entry form on the Word website, WURDradio.com. Mark your calendars for the Love and Life Connection event, Tuesday, February 13th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Bayou, 5025 Baltimore Avenue. Stay tuned for more details on event registration, and tune in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Discover all Temple University has to offer during their winter preview days. Take this opportunity to tour main campus and learn more about their academic programs and award-winning faculty. As a top 100 best value school according to U.S. News and World Report, they provide the education, connections, and resources to prepare students for success. Register to join at temple.edu/preview.
Tune in every Saturday at 4 p.m. for the Did You Know Show with host Bryant Green, right here on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM.
Did you know you can have high cholesterol without any symptoms? High LDL or bad cholesterol can have a big impact on your cardiovascular health, increasing your risk of a heart attack or stroke. Reduce your risk by knowing your LDL cholesterol level and working with your doctor on a treatment plan. Lowering your LDL cholesterol today can help you enjoy a healthier tomorrow. Visit the American Heart Association at heart.org/LDL to learn why lower is better.
Long nose, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
And we are back. Hello there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. It's Thursdays with Dr. Z. So we're talking with Dr. Zenida Driver and Aronissa Harris. We're talking about financial literacy. So listen up, listen up. Dr. Z, before the commercial break, I was asking you if you would help us. Just give us a little help about how to broach this conversation and, ease.
It's funny when we talk about this idea of anxiety, it's the idea that we struggle to stay in the moment, right? That we're thinking about the future, we're worrying about the future. But when we talk about this idea around life insurance and preparing for the unexpected, we do a great job of staying in the moment because I don't want to have that conversation. I don't want to think about that. So we can stay in the moment there, which is interesting. We struggle to stay in the moment in other times. But one of the ways in which we want to do our best to have these conversations is to take the abnormalcy out of it, right? It's normal. It's a part of life. It's something that we all are going to experience, whether we like it or not. So I think the first thing is we have to break that stigma. We have to break that idea that this is not a conversation we should have. And make it a part of our life, make it a normal thing. And I think it's also important to have family meetings about it, to talk about it, to plan. I think that a lot of it is planning when we think something is going to happen or trying to deal with it when the issue comes. But if we talk about it like we should do our finances, like we talk about dating and what are the hard topics that we need to talk about in dating that we've talked about in the past, I think this topic has to be one of those conversations. What do we do if something happens? What are the things that we need to think about? What are the things that we need to put in place? So I think to answer your question, Carol, one, it's the idea of not staying in a moment. It's about thinking forward in a positive way about the future. Two, not making an abnormal thing because it's extremely normal. And three, scheduling meaningful times with our families to talk about what it is that we need to think about as it relates to taxes and insurance and investment funds.
That makes so much sense. So much sense. Thank you for that. Miss Julie, hi there, our beloved. She shares just as the Senegalese have that traditional touch of preparing lavender pastries to soothe the nerves, fibers during elevation of emotions, during transformation, cycles of grief. This has been the needed conversation about tax shelter securities. Thank you so much. So much. And David, he shares tax shelter annuity. He said, I'm just going to put that out there. Smitty, hi there for joining us. Thank you. Thank you so much. He's sending some love to all the family and friends. And David D-Train Scott, hi there. Welcome to the conversation. He shares a living will is needed. Family also need to know where documents are in the event of your death. How about that?
I create a legacy binder, or I'm in the process of creating a legacy binder for each one of my clients. And it's a dedicated, intentional binder with sheets in it and all kind of the plastic ones. You can make it as pretty or as simple as you like, but it's somewhere. It's a book where everything is: passwords, account numbers, who's the name of the attorney for the family, Where do I find this? Where do I find that? Is your name on the account? Who's my power of attorney? What are my wishes if I become incapacitated? Do they do a blood transfusion or not? All of those things you got to work while it's day. So you have to make those decisions while you're in soundness of mind before someone else has to make them for you. And families gather for everything: baby showers, bridal showers, gender reveals. Right. I mean, anything we could do to get around some chicken and some food and some conversation. But if you sadly, if you call a meeting to talk about finances, who's going to take care of grandma and where are we going to put and whose name is on the property, and there's so much infighting and let me just put this in the atmosphere. The definition of responsible is the ability to respond. So if you're not able to respond, you're not responsible. I don't care how old you are. If you're driving a vehicle and your deductible is $1,000 and you crash your car and you don't have $1,000, you're unable to respond. So you're irresponsible.
And you know what? To jump in with that, Aronissa, when we talk about the ability to respond, it's also finding that designee. Who's that person in our family that when grief happens, or if we're experiencing something that may cause a high level of emotion, this is the person in our family that we know can do their best to hold it together. They're going to still struggle. They're still going to grieve, but they'll be able to have the emotional maturity needed in that moment to help facilitate what needs to be done. So I think, who do we pick to do that, to orchestrate this? It's also pivotal when we talk about having this tough conversation. And I don't even want to call it a tough conversation anymore. I would say just having the conversation.
Just have the conversation.
Right? Because that tough word makes it uncomfortable. It makes it sound abnormal. It's just a necessary conversation.
My grandmother would always say, death is a part of life.
It is.
So talking about it is a conversation. That's all it is. It's just a conversation.
Yep.
And she would take the stress out of it. I will say this, because my family used to meet about everything. We used to meet about it. And in my generation, we don't do that. But the generation before us, we met about everything. Yeah. And I loved it. When I was a little girl, well, I was the little secretary.
But the notes.
I did. I sure did. I was the secretary. But my family, that we met about everything. And that's something I truly do miss. Now that we're talking about all of this, because I can tell you right now, I haven't designated that person, and I need to get on top of it. I'm listen, y'all know how
let's be transparent.
But that family knows that I am, and I am, I'm accepting this responsibility right now because it's something that I definitely need to handle, and because I find myself in the position of being the caregiver, taking care of more and more family members. So I know I need to get it together, because
you know what, Carol, as you say that too, many families are not having family dinner at the table, right? We're not sitting down anymore as a family. Many families, some still do, but there's a lot that don't. So when we think about sitting down at the table now, when you sat down at the table, Carol, it was everyone meeting at the table for a good time, for fellowship, for interaction. Now thinking about having to come to the table to have this conversation also makes it seem abnormal, because we've lost that meaning in a lot of families.
We had meetings. My family would have a once a month. It wasn't. I mean,
it was on the calendar.
We had birthday. So my family, we had birthday parties for every zodiac sign, so that nobody was left out. But we had a family meeting once a month where everything discussed. Business,
churches, they used to call that everybody's birthday. Is that what they used to call
everybody's
it?
birthday. That's right. That's right, Dr. Z. That's right.
We had every zodiac sign had a birthday party. I missed those too. But in any event, so what would you say are some of the more common misconceptions about life insurance?
So I like to, again, I speak in word pictures. So insurance is protection. Protection against the unknown, the what if, and it's specifically about life insurance. But let's just talk about insurance in general. Let's do a bird's eye view and kind of narrow it down, right? So when you think about car insurance, let me just put it out here. When I make my car insurance premium, and it is sold in 6-month increments, most policies, January to June, July to December, let's just say. And so that's a period of time, it's a term. Now, if I don't crash my car, injure a pedestrian, nothing goes wrong, are any of my premiums refunded? I mean, we would like to think that, but I don't get my money back if I don't use this coverage. It's like one of them things you pay. Same with health insurance. It's sold annually. That's a term. It's open enrollment. And if you don't get sick or you don't go to the doctor, your employer does not refund you those premiums. You're not looking for any. You can look for them, but you know not to expect any. Come on, somebody. And so we don't look at our car insurance or our health insurance as a place to save money. So why do we look at our life insurance like that?
How about
just put that into the atmosphere. I got people walking around all the time saying, I had this policy for all these years. What do I get back? Well, you didn't get anything back from your health insurance. You didn't get anything back from your car insurance. So why is this the expectation? So this notion that I'm supposed to stack dollars in a policy, and guess what? One day I can take it out and use it. I can borrow against it. It's flag number one. Borrow means debt. Debt stands for don't even buy that. That means you owe, right? So why would you put yourself in a situation where when life is happening, you have to create another loan from what's supposed to be for your legacy or your future, okay? And then people are going to argue with me. I don't think life insurance is a forever need. Why do we need it permanently? Okay, so there's the big debate, and I'm willing to get into the ring because I'm passionate about whole life versus term and which one is the better one. I mean, you've heard it on every station, everywhere, right? So let me just put my 2 cents in the ring, and then I'll come off the mic, okay? So the average male lives to age 78, the average female to 85. A whole life contract goes to age 100. So the industry knows from mortality tables that most people won't make it to 100. Are we clear? So the big misconception is, wow, how can I get 100 years of premiums from somebody who's only going to make it 85 years? How can I get that other 15 years out of them in order to make the right? So what typically happens is you are overcharged for the cost of insurance to create a smokescreen that you're saving money. And so really what looks like a return is nothing more than you getting back your change.
That's awful.
That's awful. So, and watch. So now I had a client, and I think stories, really, really paint the picture. I ran into a friend of mine. We went to grade school together, who had made the decision to pay $569 a month for a life insurance contract.
$569.
So we stand outside of D'Alessandro's. We talk, what you do, how you been. So I told him what I do. He says, I'm paying $560. I said, why would you do that? I said, I don't mean to insult you. Well, why would you do that? And he said to me, well, it's because, up the road, I could pull it out. I could use it for real estate. I could use it as a living benefit. So I just took out my old trusty calculator. If I may right now, $569 a month times 12 is $6,800 a month, a year. So I said to him, well, do you have a retirement set up? Do you have, oh no, I don't have that yet. So you don't have any tax shelter going on to create a return on your money, the whole bit. He says, no. I said, well, how much is the policy? What's the death benefit? He said $180,000. I said, so you pay $569 for $180,000 of protection. He said, yeah. I said, let me bring the policy to me. So I read it to him. He did not read that for the first 3 to 5 years, there was nothing in the savings part. So if I take $6,800 and multiply it by 3, that's an investment of $20,000 to check the savings to find 0. That's a problem. Okay. He didn't realize, Carol, that if he ever pulled money out of the savings side, it reduced the death benefit. So now my living affects my dying. And then if you want to restore the death benefit, you have to pay higher premiums because it's a loan against your own money. So now you're charging me an interest rate on what I funded. And here's the big bombshell. Upon my death, you keep the savings rather than transfer them to my loved one. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. What? So what I was able to do for him was, he's in his upper 40s or almost 50. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing because I put on my red lipstick tonight so nobody would tell that I'm
listen.
Okay, did I do all right? Okay.
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. And so I was able to sit down with him in about 45 minutes. I was able to increase him to $500,000, drop the policy to $160,000, added his children, and took the other $400,000 and began to put it in a Roth IRA on a monthly basis. Because the two tragedies in life is you could die too soon or live too long. And most
Mhm.
insurance agents aren't caring about how you make it in retirement. It's all about if you die. But here's another thing. Let's flip it. When you get to 65, if mortality tables are correct, you're going to live an additional 20 years. So from 65 to 85, you need income. Yeah. So how you doing that with just Social Security? And what's the purpose of having all this insurance while you living with grown children in a paid off house? When I get a new car, I get full coverage. 30 years from now, when it's a hoopty, I get liability. And make it for the record that wealthy people don't need insurance. They have assets. How about we focus on making our community self-insured? Why do we think that we have to depend on paying premiums? If I have $500,000 of my own money sitting in an account that any one of my children could access, and I die without life insurance, well, so what? Because you could take my assets and take care of me, right? So life insurance is the purchase of money you haven't saved yet. Once you save it, life insurance is an option.
So to that point, what would you say an average amount an individual should pay for if an individual chooses to have life insurance? What would you suggest that monthly amount be?
I think it should be proportionate to your income. Number one, I think let me start off the other way. I think you should have 5 to 10 times your salary in life insurance. So if you make $35,000 a year, you should have $350,000 of coverage, because that puts your paycheck back on the table for 10 straight years after you're gone. That's the first thing. Secondly, I think it depends on so many things that make it difficult to put a number, because it depends on height, weight, age. It depends on gender. It depends on income. So I insured a young lady today who was paying $210, African-American, 2 children, working hard, making just under $100,000 a year, paying $210 a month for $100,000, $210 with no retirement. So I was able to increase her to $350,000, add her children as a rider, stop putting insurance policies on babies and little kids. They can be riders. It's much less expensive for the family. And her premium dropped to $93. So now she's got $100 left on the table to start her IRA, which she didn't have prior to our conversation.
See, when you don't know, you don't know, though.
You don't know.
You don't know. Listen, they say when you know better, you do better.
You do
okay.
better.
That's why we have you here tonight with your red lipstick. Okay. That's exactly why we listen. Yes, and it's showing up and showing out. Family, listen, we're about to take a short commercial break, but I know you have questions. I know you do. So the phone lines are still open, and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. But whatever you do, stay with us, because we're coming right back.
Stand with Word Radio as we continue to provide dynamic, progressive programming to inform and empower our people. We're living in unprecedented times, and we must stand together to protect and preserve Black Talk Media. Become a 4Word member with the annual membership price of just $90, or a digital member starting at just $5 per month. If you're already a 4Word member, sign up, family member, or a friend to help us continue making history. Start or renew your 4Word membership today. Visit wordradio.com/4word or wordradio.com/membership.
History will be made this Women's History Month, and you're invited. On March 14th, tens of thousands of women will come together in one digital space for a national gathering of women, supporting women. This groundbreaking event is being organized by the Conferences for Women, the largest network of women's conferences in the country. Register now and gain access to some of the world's top women leaders and experts on career advancement, leadership, and personal development. Speakers include The Handmaid's Tale author Margaret Atwood, award-winning actor America Ferrera of Barbie, Top Chef host Kristen Kish, author and musician Michelle Zahner, Vanity Fair editor-in-chief Radhika Jones, and many more. There's power in numbers, so secure your ticket and be a part of history. Visit www.conferencesforwomen.org.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Want the latest in word swag? Check out the shop tab on wordradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. It's the shop tab on wordradio.com. You can look good and show the world that you're all about Black Talk Media.
It's too black, which means it's too strong.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black Talk Media, WURD.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. It's Thursdays with Dr. Z, and she has brought a new family member, Aronissa Harris, and she is educating us, y'all. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Well, guess what? These are some things that we need to know and some things that we definitely need to talk about. I do want to share that our family members are commenting. Joey Dixon is joining us. Hi there, Joey. And he's sending peace, love, and he shares that it's great Love and Life Learning Center tonight. He's enjoying this, so thank you for that, love. Thank you so much, Joey. The beautiful Joanne Dorman is joining us, and she shares, be grand wherever you can. Okay, I love it. I'm putting that in my pocket. Thank you for that. Okay. And Pastor Daniel Black is joining us. Pastor, I've missed you. He shares, good evening, family. You all know that is Pastor Daniel Black of Gospel Temple Baptist Church. Yes, that's exactly who it is. And Ms. Rosalind shares, so sad that we don't trust family. Why give it back to the state when you worked so hard for that money?
Correct.
Why do that? She also shares you got to make sure that some paperwork is signed, sealed, and delivered in the person's name that you want to handle those properties and those important, that necessary information. She says, take care of it. Prepare for your children's future. Prepare. And Eric shares, a lot of times people do not want to divulge who the beneficiary is, especially if it's only one person. In the real world, people can get angry, greedy, and envious if they don't like the outcome. They do.
They do.
They do. And
they
do.
all the time.
Heavens to Murgatroyd. They do. I still don't understand it, though. I mean, we're all leaving here. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. But in any
event, of entitlement, people think that they're owed, your estate. And I can choose whoever I want to choose that I find responsible or deem worthy to manage my hard-earned dollar, right? And I think it just pulls on us to be more authentic. Don't have people thinking that they're going to get the estate when they're not. Like, even that is part of the conversation. Tell the kids now, if you pick your middle son, you need to tell the oldest son and the baby that you picked the middle son, because that'll cut down, or it should cut down on all the fighting. Because then you're going to blame the middle son for what he knew nothing. Mom left it to the middle son. So if we just talk about that now while mom is living, then the children can kind of know where she stands and don't walk around.
They don't care. Aronissa, they don't care. Listen, they don't care.
I tried.
You did. You sure did. And I love you for it. I sure do. But they don't get, listen. They don't care. I see it. I have seen it. We've all had that experience. Listen, they don't care. All they care about is $1 and a dime.
Wow.
But in any event, can you talk with us a little bit? I'm looking at the time, but I'm trying to get all the information I can from you.
Okay.
A little bit about annuities and mutual funds as well.
Mutual funds. So, you talk about my stuff, right? Annuities. The best way to describe an annuity in layman's terms is a lottery winning that you create for yourself. Notice when people play the lottery, they say, this tax sheltered annuity, the annuity is going to pay out. So all an annuity is you create you put money in over time, and then you decide the day you're going to hit. And then it pays you an income in reverse from what you accumulated in that account. So it's picking your own lottery. Some of them are variable annuities. Some of them are fixed. You have some people who don't want to get into the market or want to experience any level of volatility. So they will go with a fixed annuity as opposed to something variable where, you know, they kind of roll the dice and play the market, if you will. I want to take now mutual funds. Since the Great Depressions, we're talking about since the 1920s, mutual funds, even with the ups and downs, there have been more bull markets than bear markets. I don't want to talk over your head. A bull market is where there's a period of years where stock prices rise. The market's up. Bear means that it's coming down. Well, in the last, I guess, 150 years, there have been 2/3 more bull markets than bear. And when bear markets come, they only last about 11 and a half months. So the sum total of that is the market is up more than it's down. And whenever it's down, it's not down for long, even through pandemics and wars. But mutual funds are where it's like malls. Stocks are like buying shares of one company. So if the company does well, you do well. If the company does poorly, you do poorly. Well, a mutual fund is like making a purchase from a mall. We've all been to malls where one store is closed, but the mall stays open. So it spreads the risk around. You're buying shares of the mall. And the little guy that sits that we call the security officer, the information desk, he's watching the stores and who has the most traffic. You don't have the skill to do that. That's why mutual funds come with sales charges and loads, because somebody's got to pay that guy to watch the mall. And he can see that your account is heavy on the Neiman Marcus, but they didn't make a sale all day. It's Nordstrom that's rocking. So he has the ability to move the fund around. He can move your money and shift it in a way that's beneficial for you. And so he should get paid, or she should get paid to do that. Makes sense? But let me just say this lastly, for all the people who are expert investors, never been to school, they just watching the news. They say, child, the market is down. Well, let me ask a question. If your favorite purse was on sale at the mall for 50% off, would you run away from the mall or to it? You probably make your way to the mall, because what used to be $300 for one is now $100. So you can get 3 bags for one. So when we hear in the midnight hour that the market is down, that means what used to be $80 a share is now $8. You better get to the market, not away from it. So we got uneducated people here, and the market's down, and they're running from it when they should be running to it. Simple stuff. That
you make it sound so simple, Aronissa. You make it sound
simple. Thank you. It's super simple. It's super simple. Super simple.
You do. I'm sitting here like, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how you gotta do it.
I tell you, family. So you see, we have about 2 minutes remaining. Okay. 2 minutes remaining.
All right.
I know you've got a comment, a question, or something. Well, you know what? I will leave it up to Dr. Z and Aronissa. How about that? If there's anything with which you will leave us tonight that we can take out.
I'll take 6 seconds.
Okay.
I just think that it's so important. Why I asked Aronissa, we just need to have these conversations, and we need to talk about it because it's so important. And thank you, Aronissa, for coming and educating our work community today. And hopefully our listeners take this information and have those meaningful conversations with their families.
I hope so too. I want to take a minute to shout out all my family and friends. First, I want to shout out my husband and my pastor, Pastor Marvin Harris from the St. Philip's Baptist Church. He's been pastor in 2.5 years. We're right down there on 6th Street between Girard and Thompson. That is where we worship. And we've also been blessed in 2015 to found the Money Clinic, which is my true passion. And we exist to educate faith-based organizations about what the Bible says about money. So pastors and ministry leaders bring us in to come and do a workshop, 2 hours of Bible study, 2 hours of practical education. And we've discovered that there's a spiritual problem going on when someone looks in a closet full of clothes and shoes, has no retirement, and yet still orders more. See, that what we see.
You just said a whole lot right there, Aronissa.
You understand?
You know that, right? You just told half of our business. You know that, right? You just told half of everybody's. You should just told it. I mean, so eloquently. But before, wait, I have to say this because one of our guests asked earlier, and we just had a caller ask, what is your phone number and location? I cannot let you leave. And Harold said, is she coming back? Okay.
I would
so
love to.
will you please come back to visit with us?
I would love to. I'd be
and
honored.
Will you please tell us the number at which you can be reached?
Okay, here's my number. I'm gonna say it real slow. It's 267-278-4535. 4533. One more time for the people in the back of the room, 267-278-4533. You can text me, you can call me, leave a message. I'll get back to you. But I'm just so grateful. Dr. Z is my sister. We just connected. You just connect with people like right off the bat. We didn't have any upswing. It was like boom. And we've been working. You understand?
Well, first, because listen,
is she from South Philly? Like
I'm going to text you, Aronissa. Listen, I'm texting. And wait, Harold, put your address. He said 115 East
Glenside Avenue. Thank you, Harold.
Harold said, "Don't play." He said, "Listen, I am not new to this. I am true to it."
Come on, Harold.
That's what we do here. That's what we do here,
so
family.
Wonderful.
So the family has already agreed. We're in agreement that we need to have you come back, Aronissa, because we need to get our finances in order. Okay, we need to we need to get our legacy binders.
Yes,
okay,
that's what we all need.
What
a legacy binder?
Did I say it?
And we all need a 100 envelope savings challenge where you put. I got all kinds.
Okay,
of
well, you got to come back and tell. Okay, so you just definitely.
You.
So you have to come back and tell. Okay, I wrote down legacy binder because that's weird. Listen, Malcolm, Harold, Joanne, Alfredia, everybody. Okay, Alfredia said loud claps. Okay, with a standing ovation to Aronissa. Okay, so Aronissa whole name. Okay, Aronissa Harris. That's what she's
government.
Family. Yes. Okay, so you already know. Look at me. I haven't got lost in the time. Praise God. Just praise God from whom all blessings flow.
I'm telling you.
Thank you all. Thank you to every single guest that we had tonight. Thank you to all of you that have commented on our socials, that have called in, that have sent love, that wanted, all of that good stuff. Thank you for sharing your time, your energy, your space, your knowledge, your spirit, your attention with us. Happy birthday once again to all of our love bugs. Thank you to the entire Word family. I want to remind you that I will be here in spirit next week. Our beloved Roxy Fab will be filling in for me as I will be working the Soul Train cruise. So if you're on there, we can party together. But family, remember, I tell you this all the time because I mean it. We are all in this together. So be good to you, but be good to those around you. Please, please. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend as well. And be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Have a good night, y'all. I love you, but God
I love you
so
too.
much more. Okay.
What a pleasure. Take care.